There comes a moment in your life when you stop running after what you think you want, and something strange happens. The very things you used to chase begin to turn and follow you. Opportunities that once felt out of reach suddenly appear at your door. People who ignored you before now can't stop thinking about you. And it's not because you became more desperate, or more convincing, or more available. It's because you became something far more powerful than a chaser. You became the one worth chasing. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Most people live their whole lives with an energy of pursuit, chasing love, chasing success, chasing validation, without realizing that this very chase is a signal to the universe that says, "I don't have it yet. I am not enough yet." And the universe always responds to the vibration you send. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop caring so much about someone's attention, they suddenly start noticing you? Or how the second you stop obsessing over a goal, you start seeing signs, opportunities, and connections that lead you right to it? That's not luck. That's alignment. That's vibrational detachment in action. The truth is, everything in this world is energy. People, money, love, opportunities. They are all frequencies. When you chase, you're broadcasting a frequency of lack, telling the world you don't have it. But when you stop chasing, when you step into your own wholeness, your own self-respect, your own presence, you change the frequency entirely. You're no longer sending the signal of a beggar. You're radiating like a lighthouse. And lighthouses don't run around looking for ships. Ships come to them. This is the shift no one tells you about. The moment you stop needing, you start attracting. The moment you stop running toward, the current begins to carry everything toward you. And here's the part most people don't understand. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about truly reaching that place inside you where you realize you are complete, whether it comes to you or not. That's when the energy flips. That's when the universe stops testing you and starts rewarding you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens, how Jungian psychology explains it, and how vibrational detachment can make you magnetic to the very things you once thought you had to fight for. But first, I need you to hear this. The most attractive energy in the world is the one that doesn't need to be attractive at all. There is a certain shift that happens inside you when you stop chasing. It is not just a decision in the mind, it is a quiet rewiring of your energy. You begin to understand that what is meant for you cannot be held back, and what is not meant for you cannot be forced. At first, the mind will resist this idea because the mind has been trained to believe that more effort, more pursuit, more proving will bring results. But when you step back and look at life with calm eyes, you start to see that the things that came to you easily, the people who showed up without force, the opportunities that seemed to flow in naturally, were never the ones you had to chase. Jung spoke about the unconscious pulling us toward what aligns with our inner truth. In that stillness, in that quiet decision to no longer run after everything, you create the perfect space for the unconscious to guide you toward the things that are already moving toward you. You realize that chasing is often born from fear. Fear that if you don't act fast, you will lose. Fear that if you do not hold on tightly, it will slip away. Fear that you will be forgotten. But fear has a low vibration, and low vibrations cannot hold on to things of higher value. When you chase from fear, you send out an energetic message that you do not already possess what you seek, that you are incomplete, that you are lacking. And life responds by confirming that lack. This is why chasing pushes things further away. The more you run toward them, the more they seem to run from you. It is not because you are not worthy, but because your energy is saying, I am not enough without this, and the universe simply mirrors that back to you. When you stop chasing, you step into a different frequency. You no longer move from a place of grasping, but from a place of already having. You carry yourself like someone who knows they are whole, someone who trusts in divine timing, someone who can walk away from what does not align without fear of loss. That self-trust is magnetic. People feel it when you speak less but mean more. When you are present without demanding attention, when you can let silence stretch between you and still feel no panic. This is the moment your energy shifts from pursuit to attraction. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." When you stop chasing, you make a powerful part of your unconscious conscious. You begin to see where you were moving out of neediness, where you were trying to fill a void, where you confuse desire with desperation, and when you see that clearly, the grip loosens. You no longer seek validation in the eyes of others, because you have found it in your own reflection. You no longer seek worth in the arms of someone else, because you carry it in your own posture. This is why people, opportunities, and blessings begin to move toward you. They are drawn to the one who does not beg for them. They are curious about the one who is already full. They respect the one who can say, "I am fine without it," and actually mean it. Vibrationally, this is when your frequency becomes a match for the things you once chased. Imagine two energies. One is frantic, rushed, fearful, trying to pull something in with force. The other is steady, calm, grounded, radiating confidence. Which one do you think attracts better? Which one feels safer to approach? Which one would you want to be around? The steady one, the calm one, the one that doesn't need you but enjoys you. This is the shift that turns you into a magnet. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is not coldness, it is self-respect. When you stop chasing, you do not lose your desires. You simply place them in the right place, in your heart, not in your hands, so that they are free to come to you without you strangling them. You still visualize, you still set intentions, you still move toward your goals, but you remove the desperation. You work from a place of joy, not from a place of lack. You interact from a place of fullness, not from hunger. This is the key to vibrational detachment. You are emotionally free from the outcome, and in that freedom, life has the space to deliver. It is in this energy that people begin to notice you more. They can feel you are not trying to get something from them. They can sense that your attention is a gift, not a bargaining chip. They can tell that you are not looking to be completed, but to be complemented. And this is rare. In a world where so many run after approval, the one who can stand still and let life come to them stands out like a beacon. This is not passivity, it is mastery. You are not waiting with crossed arms for life to serve you. You are living fully, loving yourself fully, and trusting deeply, so that what is yours can find you without resistance. When your energy stops chasing, you will notice something beautiful. The right people will step closer. The wrong ones will fade away. Opportunities that were blocked will start to open. Even situations that once felt impossible will start to turn in your favor, and it will not feel like luck. It will feel like a quiet, knowing that this is the natural order of things when you are aligned. Jung understood this deeply. He knew that what we attract is a reflection of our inner state, and when your inner state is one of peace, worth, and self-trust, your outer reality has no choice but to match it. So if you feel yourself running, pause. If you feel yourself grasping, loosen your hold. If you feel the fear of losing something, remind yourself that what is truly yours will not require you to exhaust yourself to keep it. Step into the vibration of already being. Live as though you already have the love, the abundance, the peace you desire. Speak from that place. Walk from that place. Make decisions from that place. And watch how everything you once thought you had to chase begins to find you instead. There comes a quiet but powerful moment in a person's life when they realize they do not have to run after anything anymore. It is not a loud moment. It is not a dramatic announcement. It is a shift that happens deep inside your chest, like a soft click that suddenly locks everything into place. It is the day you stop trying to force people to understand you. It is the day you stop bending yourself to fit into someone else's life. It is the day you understand that your worth is not tied to how hard you work to be chosen. In this moment, you no longer chase. And the strange, beautiful thing is that once you stop chasing the things you once longed for, the love, the opportunities, the recognition, the peace, start to move toward you on their own. Carl Jung often spoke about the unconscious forces that shape our reality. He believed that the patterns we repeat, the people we are drawn to, the experiences we find ourselves in, are not accidents. They are mirrors of something happening within us. When you chase, you are not just running after a person or a goal. You are often running from an inner fear. It's fear that you are not enough. Fear that if you do not act fast, you will lose. Fear that if you are not constantly visible, you will be forgotten. And what happens when you live in this frequency of fear? Life mirrors it. People sense it. Opportunities feel it. The universe responds to your vibration, and a vibration of lack only brings more situations that confirm that lack. This is why so many people experience the same frustration. The more they chase something, the further it seems to move away. The more they try to hold on, the quicker it slips through their fingers. It is not because they are unworthy. It is because they are holding the energy of, "I need this," or "I am incomplete." And that energy cannot attract anything stable. It pushes things away, even while you are trying to pull them closer. It's like chasing a butterfly. The harder you run after it, the more it flutters out of reach. But if you stand still, calm, and let it come to you, it may land on your shoulder without effort. When you stop chasing, you enter a completely different energy field. You begin to walk, talk, and breathe from a place of wholeness. You do not beg for attention because you know you are already seen by the right eyes. You do not plead for love because you know your love begins within you. You do not run after opportunities because you know what is aligned will find you in perfect timing. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is not laziness. It is trust. You begin to trust life in a way that most people cannot, because you have learned that what is yours will not pass you by. Vibrational detachment is the art of wanting something without needing it to survive. It is knowing you can desire deeply while still remaining free. It is the awareness that you can hold a vision in your heart without clinging to it with desperate hands. And when you live in this space, your vibration becomes magnetic. People can feel that you are not trying to take from them. They can feel that you are not waiting for them to complete you. They can feel that you are whole on your own. And that is rare, which makes it irresistible. Think about how energy works between people. When someone approaches you with a sense of urgency, trying to win your approval, trying to get you to choose them, you feel pressured. That pressure makes you want to pull back. Now imagine someone who shows up confident, peaceful, smiling, as if they are already living a full and beautiful life, and your presence is simply a bonus. That energy draws you in. It makes you curious. It makes you want to be around them. This is the same way life responds to you. When you stop chasing, you shift into the vibration of someone who already has, and life is naturally drawn to that. Jung's work also reminds us that until we see our unconscious patterns clearly, we will keep repeating them without realizing it. Many people spend years chasing relationships that mirror their childhood wounds. They chase partners who are emotionally unavailable because, deep down, they are replaying the feeling of trying to win the attention of someone in their past. They chase careers or status because, deep down, they believe they must achieve in order to deserve love. And until they see this clearly, they will keep running in circles. But the moment you stop, the moment you decide to no longer repeat the chase, you break the cycle. You send a new message to your subconscious. I am already worthy. I do not need to beg life for what belongs to me. And it is in this moment that things begin to change. People who once took you for granted begin to notice your absence. Opportunities that were blocked begin to open. Situations that once felt stuck begin to move. It is as if the energy you were spending on running is now free to pull things toward you. You realize that you were never meant to exhaust yourself to keep what is meant for you. What is truly aligned will never require you to betray yourself to have it. When your energy no longer chases, you start to see the power of patience. You learn that silence is not weakness, that walking away is sometimes the loudest statement you can make. You discover that your presence carries weight when you are not trying to prove it. People lean in more when you stop leaning on them. They begin to offer what you once had to ask for. And even better, you start to lose interest in what once made you desperate, because you now understand that not everything you want is truly meant for you. The pause gives you clarity, and clarity is power. From a vibrational perspective, detachment sends a message to the universe that you already have everything you need. And when you feel that way, you match the frequency of abundance. You stop living in, I need, and start living in, I am. You stop living in, I hope it comes, and start living in, it is already on its way. And this is not just spiritual talk. You can see it play out in real life. The job offers that come after you stop obsessing over applications. The romantic interest that suddenly appears after you focus on your own joy. The creative inspiration that flows when you stop forcing yourself to be productive. These are not coincidences. They are the natural result of releasing resistance. The world will always tell you to hustle harder, to run faster, to push more. But there is another way, a way that is quieter but far more powerful. It is the way of stillness, of self-trust, of letting life meet you halfway. You still take action, but your actions are no longer frantic. They are inspired. They come from a place of alignment, not panic. You still want beautiful things, but you no longer believe they are the key to your happiness. You know the key was within you all along. When you stop chasing, you will see something else shift. Your standards. You no longer say yes to crumbs because you know you can have the whole feast. You no longer wait for people to make up their mind about you because you have already made up your mind about yourself. You no longer give your time to those who cannot value it, because you now see time as sacred. And this makes you even more magnetic. People feel the difference. They feel they cannot play with your energy. They either rise to meet it, or they fall away. And both outcomes are in your favor. Carl Jung taught that wholeness is not about becoming perfect, but about becoming real. Accepting all that you are and living from that truth. When you stop chasing, you are saying, I am whole as I am. You are no longer splitting yourself into the version that pleases others and the version that holds your truth. You become one, and that integration changes everything. Wholeness has a gravity of its own. It draws in the right people and repels the wrong ones without effort. So if you are tired of running, if you are exhausted from holding on, if you are weary from trying to make life bend to your will, take this as your sign to stop. Breathe. Stand still. Let your energy settle into the truth that you are already enough. Begin to live as though the love you seek is already in your heart. Move as though the opportunities you desire are already walking toward you. Speak as though you already belong in the rooms you dream of entering. Because when your energy no longer chases, you become the one who is chased. You become the one who draws life in. And in that place, you are free. There is a moment in your life when you feel something inside you go quiet, not because you have given up, but because you have finally understood. You stop running. You stop trying to be seen in rooms where people have already decided to look past you. You stop knocking on doors that are not meant to open for you. It does not come with a loud announcement. It is not a dramatic rebellion. It is a calm, almost invisible shift. But its impact is so deep that everything in your reality begins to change. You notice that your energy is no longer scattered, no longer reaching out in 100 directions. It is centered, it is whole, and in this stillness, the very things you once ran after begin to find their way toward you. Carl Jung often spoke about the deep currents beneath the surface of our lives, the unseen patterns that guide who we meet, what we attract, and how we respond. He believed that these unconscious forces shape much of our destiny until we bring them into awareness. When you are constantly chasing something, a person, a goal, a feeling, you might think you are moving toward it, but in reality, you are often moving from something else. Maybe you are running from loneliness. Maybe you are running from the fear of being forgotten. Maybe you are running from the thought that if you stop, no one will come. And here's the strange truth. The more you run from that fear, the more life seems to give you reasons to feel it. Have you noticed how when you text someone over and over, desperate for a reply, they seem to respond less? Or how when you beg for someone's attention, they seem to turn away? Or how when you force yourself to get noticed at work, it sometimes backfires? It's not just bad luck, it's energy. When you chase with desperation, you send out a silent signal that you are not enough without what you seek. That signal is felt even if no words are spoken. People sense it, opportunities sense it, the world mirrors it, and so, instead of pulling things closer, you push them further away. When you stop chasing, you change that signal completely. You step into an energy that says, I am already whole, I am already valuable, I am already enough. You may still want things, love, success, connection, but you no longer need them to feel complete. This is the difference between wanting from fullness and wanting from emptiness. Fullness attracts, emptiness repels. When you are full, you can walk into a room and not need every eye on you, and yet eyes will turn. You can speak without needing to be agreed with, and yet your words will carry weight. You can love without demanding it be returned in the same way. And yet, you will often find that love flows back to you naturally. Vibrational detachment is not about not caring. It is about caring deeply but not clinging. It is about trusting that what is meant for you will meet you without you having to twist yourself into someone else to get it. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze too tightly, it slips through your fingers. If you hold it gently, it stays. This is how energy works with people and opportunities. When you grasp with desperation, you create resistance. When you hold lightly, you allow connection. Real life proves this over and over. Think of the job offer that comes after you stop obsessing over every interview. The person who shows up after you focus on your own growth. The unexpected message from someone you thought had forgotten you. It's not magic, it's alignment. When you stop pouring all your energy into chasing, you free it to become magnetic. You stop telling the universe, "I am incomplete," and start telling it, "I am ready." And the universe responds to readiness far more than it responds to desperation. Jung taught that until you face your unconscious patterns, they will keep shaping your life. Many people chase not because they love what they are chasing, but because they are trying to recreate a familiar emotional pattern. Someone who grew up feeling unseen might chase partners who withhold affection, trying to earn the love they never got. Someone who grew up with instability might chase success endlessly, never feeling like it's enough. This is why stopping the chase can feel so uncomfortable at first. It's not just changing behavior, it's breaking a lifelong pattern. It can feel like standing in silence after years of constant noise. But in that silence, something powerful happens. You start to hear yourself again. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your presence. You are no longer half in your life and half running after something else. You can actually be here, in your day, in your body, in your breath. People feel this. They notice that you are grounded, and grounded energy is magnetic. It feels safe, it feels trustworthy, and in a world full of frantic energy, safety and trust are irresistible. There is also a natural mystery that comes when you stop chasing. Not the kind of mystery that is cold or manipulative, but the kind that comes from a person who clearly has a life they love beyond anyone's approval. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop trying to prove your worth in every interaction. You stop revealing your every thought just to keep someone interested. And this leaves space for curiosity, space for respect, space for others to come toward you on their own. Jung believed that the unconscious is drawn to what it does not fully understand. By not placing all your energy in chasing, you allow others to approach you from their own desire, not from your demand. And here is something beautiful. When your energy no longer chases, you start to receive more than you ever did while running. The invitations, the opportunities, the gestures of care, they come more naturally because they are not being forced. People give more freely when they feel your presence is not a transaction. They respect you more when they see you can walk away from what does not serve you, and you begin to realize that you never had to exhaust yourself to be chosen. You only had to choose yourself. In the beginning, this may feel foreign. If you have spent years chasing, letting go may feel like losing control, but control was always an illusion. What you really have is influence, and influence grows when you are calm, centered, and sure of your own worth. You cannot control how someone feels about you. You cannot control the timing of life, but you can control your energy, your focus, and your presence. And when those are rooted in self-trust, they create a gravity that pulls the right things toward you. Imagine this shift in your daily life. Instead of sending anxious messages, you send thoughtful ones and let them breathe. Instead of checking your phone every 2 minutes, you immerse yourself in something you love. Instead of worrying if someone will choose you, you spend your energy choosing yourself through your health, your passions, your growth. Over time, you notice that the things you once feared losing are the things that begin to find you without effort. It feels like the world is finally meeting you halfway, because you have stopped running all the way to meet it. Carl Jung believed that wholeness comes when we integrate all parts of ourselves, including the ones we once rejected. Stopping the chase is part of that integration. You are no longer living only in the part of you that seeks approval. You are also living in the part of you that holds your own value. You are no longer driven only by the fear of losing. You are also guided by the trust that what is meant for you will stay. And that balance changes everything. So, if you are tired, if you feel like you have been chasing and chasing with nothing to show for it but exhaustion, let this be the moment you stop. Let this be the moment you choose to stand still, not because you have given up, but because you are ready to be found. Let your energy settle into the knowing that you are already enough. Let your life be full without needing permission from anyone to feel that way. And watch as the very things you once thought you had to run toward start running toward you. When you first stop chasing, you will notice the silence. It is a silence that can feel strange, even uncomfortable at first. For so long, your mind has been busy, calculating your next move, wondering if you said the right thing, replaying conversations, watching for signs. When all of that stops, you are left with space. And space, though it can feel empty, is where your true power begins to grow. In that quiet, you start to notice things you never saw before. The way the sunlight feels warmer when you are not rushing. The way your breath feels deeper when you are not on edge. The way people look at you differently when you are no longer trying to pull them closer. Carl Jung understood that much of our behavior comes from deep, unseen forces. The chase is not always about the thing we are chasing. Sometimes it is about a wound we are trying to heal without realizing it. Maybe you grew up having to fight for attention. So now you chase anyone who gives you a small taste of it. Maybe you were made to feel that love must be earned. So now you run after it even when it hurts you. Maybe you were taught that your worth is tied to achievement. So now you pursue success without rest, afraid that slowing down means you will fall behind. Stopping the chase is not just changing your actions. It is changing the story you have been living in. At first, your mind may resist. It will try to tell you that if you stop, you will lose everything. It will whisper fears that people will forget you, that opportunities will pass you by, that life will move on without you. But here is the truth. The right people will not forget you. The right opportunities will not pass you by. The life meant for you will not leave without you. Stopping the chase does not mean you stop moving. It means you move differently. You move with intention instead of desperation. You move with calm instead of panic. You move with trust instead of fear. Think of the difference between a river and a flood. A flood is uncontrolled, rushing, destroying everything in its path. A river is steady, flowing, and life gathers around it naturally. When you are chasing, your energy is like a flood, rushing everywhere, unable to be contained, sometimes even pushing away the very things you want. When you stop chasing, your energy becomes like a river, steady, deep, and magnetic. People, opportunities, and blessings gather around you because they can feel the stability. They feel they can grow with you instead of being swept away. You might begin to notice how people respond differently to you. Someone who once ignored your calls now wonders why you have not reached out. Someone who once took you for granted now wants to know what you have been doing. A friend who always expected you to make the effort now starts putting in effort themselves. It is not that they suddenly became different. It is that your energy shifted, and energy is felt before anything else. This is where vibrational detachment comes alive. You no longer send out the signal of, "I need you to complete me." Instead, you radiate, "I am whole, and you are welcome to join me if it feels right." This small but powerful shift changes the entire dynamic. Jung spoke about the principle of individuation, becoming your truest self, separate from the expectations and demands of others. When you stop chasing, you take a step toward that individuation. You stop bending yourself to fit into someone else's vision, and you start standing fully in your own. Real life moments will teach you how powerful this is. You might walk into a room and, without saying a word, people will turn to look at you. Not because of what you are wearing, not because you made an entrance, but because of the calm confidence you carry. You might sit across from someone you once would have tried to impress, and now you find yourself simply listening, present, without feeling the need to prove anything. You might pass up on an opportunity that does not feel aligned, and weeks later, a better one appears without effort. These are not accidents. They are the natural results of your shift. Stopping the chase does not mean you never take action. It means you take action from a place of alignment rather than from a place of fear. You still send messages, but you are okay if they are not returned right away. You still apply for opportunities, but you are not crushed if one does not work out. You still show love, but you do not beg for it in return. You still set goals, but you do not make your worth dependent on reaching them. Over time, you begin to see that what you once thought was about effort was really about energy. You can work hard and still repel what you want if your energy is rooted in lack. You can move slowly and still attract what you want if your energy is rooted in fullness. This is why some people seem to have things just come to them. They are not chasing, they are aligning. Jung's wisdom reminds us that the unconscious mind is always shaping our reality, whether we see it or not. By stopping the chase, you create space to actually see your own patterns. You might realize that the person you were running after is not even what you truly want. You might see that the job you thought you needed is not aligned with your values. You might discover that the version of yourself you were trying to prove to the world was not even the real you. These realizations are priceless because they allow you to stop living a life that is out of alignment and start living one that feels like your own. The world often tells you that you must fight for everything. Fight to be seen, fight to be loved, fight to be respected. And yes, there are moments when standing up for yourself is necessary, but not every desire requires a fight. Some desires require surrender. Some blessings only arrive when you stop gripping so tightly. Some love only deepens when it is given room to breathe. Stopping the chase is also an act of self-respect. It is you telling yourself, I will not exhaust myself for what will not meet me halfway. It is you refusing to pour all your energy into proving your worth to those who cannot see it. It is you protecting your peace as if it were sacred, because it is. As days pass in this new energy, you will feel lighter. Your mornings will not begin with anxiety about who you must reach out to or what you must prove. Your conversations will be calmer because you no longer feel like you are performing. Your evenings will be more peaceful because you are not replaying every interaction in your mind, wondering if you did enough. You will still care. You will still dream. But you will no longer chase. And this is when the magic begins. The calls you were waiting for start to come. The people you thought you lost reappear. The ideas you were struggling to find suddenly flow into your mind. You will almost laugh at how much easier it feels, and you will wonder why you ever ran so hard. You will see that life has always wanted to meet you. It was simply waiting for you to stand still long enough for it to catch up. Carl Jung would say that this is when you step into true alignment, when the conscious and unconscious are working together, when your actions match your inner truth, when your life begins to reflect the wholeness you feel inside. This is the moment you stop living in a state of chasing and start living in a state of receiving. And from here, everything changes. When you no longer run after something, you create a vacuum in your energy field that life itself wants to fill. You stop pulling with your hands and instead pull with your presence. There is something magnetic about someone who is not looking for validation because they already know their worth. Jung once said that what we resist not only persists but also grows stronger. The opposite is also true. What we stop clinging to has a way of finding its way back to us in its own time, in its own form. When you let go of grasping, the vibration of lack disappears, and what comes through is the vibration of abundance. Your energy begins to shift from "I need" to "I have," and the universe recognizes that as a signal to bring you more of what matches that feeling. This is not passive living. This is not sitting back and doing nothing while hoping life delivers everything to your door. This is an active state of being, a conscious choice to no longer feed the energy of desperation or fear. It is knowing when to step forward and when to step back. You are not abandoning your desires, you are aligning with them. You are not giving up, you are giving in to the flow that carries you toward them naturally. The paradox is that when you stop chasing, you often reach your destination faster because you are no longer swimming against the current. Think about someone who walks into a room with calm confidence. They are not scanning the crowd for approval. They are not adjusting themselves in desperate hope that someone will notice them. Yet everyone does notice them. People turn to look, not because they shouted the loudest, but because they radiated a silent kind of strength that doesn't need to prove itself. That is what your energy feels like when it no longer chases. You become a presence that is felt before it is seen, a voice that is heard without needing to speak loudly. At a vibrational level, chasing is a frequency of separation. It says, "That thing I want is over there, and I am over here, and there is a gap between us." Your energy begins to revolve around the gap instead of the connection, and the more you focus on the absence, the more you feel it. But when you stop chasing, you close the gap energetically. You begin to feel as if what you desire is already part of you. You behave, think, and move as if it is yours, not in arrogance, but in certainty, and that certainty is irresistible. Jung spoke often of individuation, the process of becoming your true self. Part of that journey is realizing that your worth has never depended on whether someone gives you attention, validation, or love. When you are rooted in your own value, you are no longer controlled by the absence or presence of someone else's affection. You love because you want to love, not because you are trying to earn love in return. That is freedom, and freedom is always magnetic. In relationships, this shift can feel dramatic. The moment you stop running after someone emotionally, they begin to feel your absence in their energy. It is not that you are playing a game or being manipulative. It is that you have recentered yourself in your own life. You are no longer sending constant energetic signals of, "I need you to choose me." Instead, you radiate, "I am already chosen, by myself, by life, by the divine." This is not arrogance, it is inner wholeness, and it is this wholeness that draws others toward you, because humans are instinctively drawn to those who seem complete within themselves. Even in work, in dreams, in opportunities, the same law applies. When you desperately try to force things to happen, you unknowingly communicate to life that you don't believe it will happen naturally. But when you trust the process, when you show up fully and then release control of the outcome, doors begin to open in places you never thought to knock. The call comes, the opportunity arrives, the person appears, not because you chased, but because you created space for them to find you. The energy of chasing is loud, restless, and often rooted in fear. The energy of attracting is quiet, assured, and rooted in trust. One says, "I will only be happy when this comes." The other says, "I am happy now, and this will come as an extension of that." When you make that shift, you are no longer looking outward for what you already have within. And ironically, the outer world begins to mirror the inner world with uncanny accuracy. And perhaps the most beautiful part is that this shift is not about becoming someone else. It is about peeling away everything that is not you. The fear, the neediness, the old stories of not being enough, until you return to the truth of who you are. And from that place, everything you have been running towards starts running toward you.